If the girls have to wear the new uniform, then the boys will too. Many years ago I worked in a small coffee shop on a university campus. Work was great, we had fun and loved the owners. Unfortunately, after 2 years of working there, they retired. New owner came in, put up multiple cameras, like 8 in a 3-meter x 10-meter coffee shop with all the cameras trained on the counter and staff areas, and used to proposition the girls. We were all university students, so 17 to 21 years old, that they would get extra shifts if they went home with him. If you argued back then you got your work hours cut down the bare minimum. A couple of months in, he decides that he's going to change the uniform. Our uniform was just a loose black polo shirt with the cafe logo, black pants, and closed shoes. Standard coffee shop staff attire. He decides that the uniform will change, but only for the girls. Now the girls will wear a midriff top with the cafe logo and low-rise pants. The boys still get to wear the old uniform. We argued that it was unsafe, hot coffee and plates of food next to bare skin, and got told too bad, so sad. Staff got together and hashed out a plan. The first day of the new uniform, the girls showed up in the old uniform, the boys showed up in the midriff tops and the low-rise pants. The new uniform policy lasted an hour. Boss was not impressed. No one lost their job because our coffee shop was right next to the law faculty. One of the students had already had a conversation with her lecturer about what was going on. I'm pretty sure that if we'd been fired for non-compliance with uniform, that the boss would have found himself in far more trouble. Now to the comments. Standard coffee shop attire. You must be in Australia. OP replied. Yep. The new owner sounds like a real slug. Did you ever hear if he still owns the place or of the inevitable lawsuits? OP replied. No lawsuits, I went and found a new job, better pay, better hours, and no coffee grounds smell. The next time I went back, about 2 months later, all the staff had changed and then the cafe closed down about 6 months after that. Well, at least you got some practice for future malicious compliance. As a guy, it absolutely creeps me out that other guys do this type of stuff. It's always great when you have co-workers like that. Not your boss but your supportive co-workers. Also, that guy sounds like a real dick. OP replied. The people I worked with were the best, except him. Really amazing group of people who always had each other's backs. I don't think I would have made it through the first 2 years of university without them. That sounds like it shouldn't be legal. OP replied. It's not. The midriff top violated OHS laws, the uniform would have violated a bunch of sexual discrimination stuff and his behavior should have had him arrested, because swapping shifts for sex is not okay. Now, I'd react entirely differently. But I was only 17 at the time, so I just tried to avoid ever being alone with him. When I was 17, the local high schools had a job training facility. I ended up training in retail at a local mall department store. This store had everything from clothing to pets to lawn mowers. Mind you, this was unpaid training for a high school grade. We had a classroom and a teacher in the basement. I trained for a couple of weeks in the hardware department. A young man who worked there in hardware began to bother me. He would ask me questions of such a personal nature that I became very uncomfortable. One day, he sent me to the storeroom in the basement to get new stock. It was dark and disorganized down there. I could not find what I was sent to get, so I headed back up the stairs. Just as he was coming down, I knew this meant trouble. So, I mustered all my strength and just pushed past him to return to the bright lights of the sales floor. It was the late 1970s. I never told on this creep. I just asked my teacher for a new department assignment. If I knew then what I know now. Ah, good old quid pro quo sexual harassment. Definitely should have been sued. Who owned this place? Jeffrey Epstein? It sounds like the coffee shop I worked for when I was 16. Skeevy, creeper owner. My sister worked for a different one across town at 17, and the owner would try to get the girls he hired to do webcam stuff on the side. I would say, what is it about coffee shop owners? But honestly, a lot of restaurant owners/managers are gross in this way, like they think the wait staff and baristas are their personal hunting grounds. Worked at an upscale brewery and the owner was a total skis. He also hit on all of the girls that worked there, but we had a manager that mostly kept him away. Well, he fired that manager and the new manager was a spineless wimp. He hired a girl he'd clearly been sleeping with on the side, he was married, and she caused a lot of drama because she thought she should be getting special treatment all around. Within a year of him firing that manager, the entire staff had turned over except one person. Before that, the turnover rate was like one person every 6 months. Reminds me of an incident at my last workplace, a casino. So once a year there was a big poker event/tournament, it lasted a week and was a lot of fun. Most of us that were interested in poker wanted to work those days. My boss at the time, a woman who is nice and all, but, well, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. She had decided that it would be fun if the female poker brushes, the boss in the poker room, working that week wore evening gowns. We all wore uniforms every day, it was the same for both men and women. Black shoes, pants, shirt, a vest, and a jacket. Women had the choice to wear a skirt instead of pants. I would have had no problem if the dress were strict and stylish, but the one they picked was a lime/grass green monstrosity with a deep décolletage and a slit up to the thigh. It was nasty to say the least. As a woman working as a poker brush, it takes a long time to gain any sort of respect. Poker is in the deepest pits of testosterone land, so, I knew, trying to make decisions that wouldn't be immediately questioned whilst wearing the green goblin thing would be impossible. So, when the said boss asked me if I wanted to work that week, I accepted on the premise that I could wear my usual uniform, same as the men. I was turned down then. So anyway, this pissed a lot of people off, especially when it became clear that she chose the women in dresses to work instead of the men who were supposed to only be working as brushes, nothing else, and who were the ones that knew the most and actually made the rules in the poker room. So, in a meeting before the event, they confronted her about this. And it went something like this: guys, it's not okay that you move us from our stations and let less knowledgeable people work when it's such an important event. Boss: well, I have decided that my girls wearing dresses should work instead. Gee, so it's because they wear the dress? BSG. So, we'll wear the dress then. B, you can't do that. Giggle your men. Men can't wear dresses. Gee, yes they can. You know there are laws against discrimination, right? B, I don't care. I'm the boss and I decide what goes. The girls worked in their dresses. The guys were sent off to do other tasks that they hated and hadn't done in years. I know they talked to a lawyer about suing or actually report to the authorities for discrimination. But they needed one to take the lead. And no one was in the mood to completely wreck their career just then. What a creepy guy. I hope he got in trouble at some point. I would have started wearing the midriff top and the low-rise pants right when he made the girls do it. As soon as I read multiple cameras, I knew exactly what this owner was all about. Glad to read that place got shut down and you went somewhere else. I'm just impressed/glad this didn't backfire and sales didn't go up 1000% due to all the now sexy men serving hot cups of coffee. Reminds me of teenage boys wear skirts to school to protest against no shorts policy. God. Adults who run schools never fail to be the most power-hungry dickbags. Men like this are your new boss ducking proposition the girls and cut hours if they say no. That's gotta be grounds for sexual harassment or something. Sounds like a typical college town business owner, high prices, low employee wages, with a dash of sexual misconduct in the workplace. He wanted to see his staff in midriff tops. That's what he got. Stupid games, stupid prizes. I could see where this was going the whole time and I was cheering you on. Staff standing together against unfair bosses makes me smile. Have an award. OP replied. Thank you. Much appreciated. The university should have eaten his bones when he started propositioning his employees.